Last week on Unglossy.
I was actually having a conversation with Bun the other day because obviously I think the natural progression with a restaurant is to scale. My concern with scaling, like we ship nationally right now on Gold Belly. We ship all over the country in Canada, and so that's been like a good filler for me, like where what cities is working for us and what's not working for us. Obviously, I want to scale, but I want to scale at a rate that we don't compromise the integrity of the brand. And even locally scaling, it showed me like how that can happen.
From the top.
I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Jeffrey Sledge.
And I'm Bun B. Welcome to Unglossy.
Real stories, unfiltered dialogue, and the voices moving culture beyond the gloss of hype and headlines.
So buckle up, Unglossy starts now.
We are back yet for another episode.
Another one.
Before we dive in, though, we got to talk about, we're a month in now. We had a big launch about a month ago. I kind of think it went pretty well. What are your thoughts?
People are mad excited. I got a lot of calls, a lot of texts congratulating me for opening up this network with you two, and people are excited.
Absolutely. I got a lot of the same, and we got some good response from media as well. Did a couple of interviews. A couple of people posted about it. You know what I'm saying? The word's getting out there. I'm waiting for a little more feedback on what I might be doing wrong. And you guys might be a little too kind to me to put it in the type of words. I'm a tough love kind of guy. So I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, bro, your teeth was bugging. I'm just waiting for something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm too close to this thing sometimes, but I will say the conversations have felt great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like the back and forth, we're getting a little bit more used to talking with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing less and less overlap in conversation, but also I'm really enjoying the people that we're conversating with.
Absolutely.
Too. We're having really, really good conversations because people that have been a part of these conversations they're not. I come from a space where, like, with artists, you got to pull teeth to get people to really open up and talk. But luckily, we've been able to get some people in here who are natural orators, natural conversationalists, and at the very least, people that like to hear themselves talk, which is always good for a podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think it's fun. I mean, it's like we're all, I know we're not all in the same location, but it's like we're sitting in a living room and we're just chatting it up with people. Mm-hmm. And people are we're talking about all sorts of crazy stuff and it's fun. Mm-hmm. But it all works out. It doesn't feel distant at all.
No, not at all. Nobody would know.
Yeah. I have two things, though. I got two things I want to say. Number one.
Let me get my notepad. Hold on.
Get your notepad. Number one, and it's not about you. Number one, in addition to our show, we have Mixed and Mastered with Jeffrey that has been fantastic. I listen to it all the time, even though I record it, and I'm fascinated by some of the little nuggets of stuff that I had never thought about that, or I never realized that person did that, or whatever it happens to be. And, we have the Comic Culture podcast, which with Pete Rock, I mean, they're rocking it right now. It's fun. It's engaging. It's, those guys are generally having a good time doing it. And so both those shows have been great. So that's number one. Number two, I would have never in a million years thought that I would be in a Houston Chronicle article with Bun B.
Yeah.
I found it fascinating.
You live long enough, you'd be surprised what happens.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
That's
so we've had some great press coverage. It's been awesome.
We've been getting some really, really good responses from people and inquiries. People wanting to know more, how we started, where we're going, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really am. I think we're going to get, I also think we're going to get more I don't know if questions is the right term, but more people are going to start saying, hey, I got an idea for a podcast. Can I go on your podcast network and do this? I think we're going to get more of that too. People are excited about the building this network,
I think so, because they figure if I can make it work, anybody can. Because
you're good.
I have for years been averse to listening to myself talk. I don't ride around and listen to my own music that much. And so I always thought it was a bit facetious. You know what I'm saying? But it does lend itself in this new age of content.
It does.
Like, that definitely lends itself to expanding your reach, creating deeper levels of connection with people. I'm all for it. I'm old. I don't want to die with this shit in my head. I need somewhere to get it out. I got to give somebody this game before I go. So this platform and this particular podcast offers me that opportunity, and I'm excited.
In the great words of the poet laureate CeeLo Green, I thank the Lord that my voice was affordable.
I know that's
Soul
right.
food.
There you go.
You know?
Now, talking about interesting guests, we got one
We
today.
do.
We got one today. Today's guest is a true architect of culture, someone who's been shaping the intersection of hip hop, cannabis, food, and community for more than 25 years. You might know him as a road manager for Mobb Deep, a lifestyle editor at The Source, or the branding mind behind projects with Nike, Reebok, Mountain Dew. But that's only part of the story. From sneaking into music conventions as a teenager to building Chef for Hire, a groundbreaking cannabis-infused culinary experience with over 200 sold-out suppers, Hawaii Mike has lived at the cutting edge of creativity. His work blends entertainment, education, and empowerment, bringing people together through culture, cuisine, and conversation. He's been featured in Forbes, The Washington Post, and many more. And now he's here with us. Please welcome the Unglossy, Hawaii Mike.
It's good, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Michael?
Man, so glad to have you here today, brother, because you have such an incredible journey that's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of researching, there's just things I learned about you, having known you for over 20 plus years, that I didn't know about.
Same,
You know what I'm
same.
saying? You always just a kind brother. You always had great, engaging conversations. You came highly regarded from a lot of our mutual friends. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you as a friend. You know, you becoming, I feel like a brother of mine, and getting to know you better. And I still realize there's things I didn't know. So I'm excited about us having this conversation today. And I will keep my notepad out to make some notes for this.
I mean, shit. That's why I started Mask Off, was to learn more about my peoples,
Yeah.
man. Like when we did that episode with you, you know. So it's like it's that same thing, and I think we're at this point where it's like this constant evolution, and then I'm learning to reflect a lot. You know what I'm saying, and to look back, because one thing we don't do is celebrate. Like, and I want to get to that point, man. Like we're alive, we're 50s. I had 6 people I knew well pass away last year in their 50s.
Wow.
I just had another one 2 weeks ago. So it's like, yo, celebration is important. And I'm not letting them take that away from us. I'm doing that intentionally with all of my people.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because I had a neighbor of mine pass away recently, and I read his obituary afterwards, and I was amazed at the things I didn't know about this guy. And he lived right next to me. And it's podcasts like this and your show that, like, I think that's really important to understand people's journeys and under people's story, because we all find these amazing things that I'm like, I never even thought about that, or never always wondered, like, how did he get from here to there or this, and why does he act like this or that? And a lot of it is we got to tell our stories sometime. And I think this podcasting platform gives us the opportunity to do that like we've never done before. So we got to start at the beginning, though. Hawaii Mike.
Okay.
Hawaii
Yes,
Mike. So you grew up in Hawaii, is that correct?
I was, so I'm born in San Francisco, though. So
Okay.
people think, like, a lot of times people would be like, Hawaiian Mike. I'm like, no, I'm not Hawaiian. I was raised in Hawaii. My mom was working with growers, hippie style, went to Hawaii, lived out there for about, like, grade school, like kindergarten through, I think, 5th grade. And then I moved back to San Francisco. And so San Francisco, and then out here when I was 18.
And where's out here? Where are you at now?
Oh, New York, my bad. I've been in New York for so long. People think I'm from here. I've been in New York since 92.
Michael,
Wait, now when you say growers,
Yeah.
could you elaborate on that?
Oh, yeah. So I'm one of these people, like, my whole life I've been around the cannabis plant. My mom smoked with me in the womb. She dropped acid like 2 days after I was born. So the idea of spirituality through that lens, openness, finding self, that inner work, that's always kind of been there. And Hawaii, she was working with cannabis growers. So we were the people in the van outside. So I'm a little kid sleeping in the van with my mom and my stepfather, and going to school out there and surfing every day. So,
Mike, I was trying to remember, did I meet you at Gavin? I met you before you came to New York, correct? I believe so. I feel like,
I mean, I'm sure we probably hung out at the Gavin.
Yeah, because I remember you were really young.
It was really when I was starting to see Fenster, like when I would go to Jive to see Jeff Fenster. I think it really started, like, you know what I'm saying? But I think, weren't you somewhere else before that?
Before Jive, I was at Wild Pitch.
Wild Pitch, Pitch. So with Mark Genova and those guys, right? Yep.
Never do that. Back into the notepad. Never do that one, Jeff.
I remember Mike was like a kid when I met him. He was really young.
Bro, I turned 19 the month after I moved out here.
Kid. He was like a really young guy.
Wait, you moved to New York at 19?
Yeah, all right. So my dad was a musician, and to subsidize his income, he was selling weed. So I was taking weed from him and selling to my friends and their parents and shit like that. And so, you know, I grew up with the Invisible Scratch Pickles, like Mixmaster Mike and all those guys, and, you know, Alex Aquino. And so that's always been fam. And so, you know, they were the DJs. There was other kids that were the rappers. We were the dancers. You know what I'm saying? I was a B-boy. And so we would all figure out how to go to the Gavin convention and sneak in so we could meet people. You know, it was literally just photocopying the badges. And so I would go in there and slang trees too, and met a couple people. Shout out to Jameson Grillo and Albie Ragusa.
Wow.
Yeah, and Albie. Those are the guys that got me out here. Literally, pause in a bathroom. They were like, "Yo, do you know where you're at?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in a bathroom selling y'all weed." Like, they were like, "Nah, this is like a serious music convention. We're from record labels." And I was like, "I know that part." He's like, "But yo, you gotta have a hustle. Like, come to New York and we'll figure out getting you an internship." And, you know, I flew out. Actually, I drove out here. And on the set of Diamond D Best Kept Secret, I got hired. Shout out to Martha Reynolds. You know, put me on to do college radio promotions as an intern. But really, like, rest in peace. This is one of the people I was talking about last year. My man Scoop. Like, if Scoop didn't go to Tommy Boy, that internship might not have been there for me. You know what I'm saying? And my story might have been different. So it's like, you know, he went to Tommy Boy, vacated that internship, and then I got that. So first record I worked was Diamond D, Best Kept Secret.
Wow. Martha Reynolds. Wow.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, I literally turned 19. That was probably my birthday month that I got hired.
Wow.
How long were you interning before you got like an actual position in New York? Like how long were you kind of just bouncing and hustling at that point?
I mean, I only interned there, and I want to say I might have got fired from the internship, or the internship ended or some shit. And then the position opened for National Director of Radio Promotions at Chemistry PWL, and I went back and I got that.
Now, who was on PWL at the time?
So it was Diamond D and Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs is probably the most known, and then another kid who passed away, Scientific. Yeah, those are like the main ones. But in that office, I don't know if I've told this story, but in that office there was another PR agency, Paula Bradshaw.
Yes,
you remember Paula?
Damn.
Right? And so she used to do PR for this group called Mobb Stop. They used to come by the office. I used to smoke with one of the main members, guy by the name of AZ. I'm from San Francisco, bro. I have no clue who this dude is until the Paid in Full movie comes out. When the Paid in Full movie comes out, I'm like, wait, what? We used to buy weed from him. We used to smoke all the time. I had no clue.
Me and Dante Ross, he was on Mixed and Mastered with me, and Mob Style came up. We had a whole conversation about Mob Style and AZ and Gangsta Lou, and absolutely, yep. Wow.
Yeah, but being from California, like I had no clue, you know.
Wow. That's hilarious.
That's what makes it great, right? So how did you switch over then? Because you ultimately ended up at the Source then. Is that right?
Yeah.
How did that
so after the job at PWO ended, Chemistry Records ended, I was kind of in between, and one of my peoples was like, Mobb Deep needs a road manager. Their managers at the time happened to literally live on the same block just around the corner from me, Tammy and Peachy. And my man Loyal Thomas, I was like, yo, come through. They want to meet you. So I went and chopped it up with them. They sent me on a show with Mob, and they were like, yo, if they like you, you're the new road manager. I'm like, all right, I'm bro. I'm 21, I think. Yeah, I'm 21 at the time. I'm probably 140 pounds soaking wet. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the biggest dude in the crew.
You're the biggest dude in the crew.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, have you ever met P and Have?
No, it's funny because it's true.
Exactly.
But yeah, we hit it off. Long story short, we hit it off. And so I was their road manager from January '95 through June when they signed with Violator.
You don't know, though. What is a road manager? Like, what do you do as a road manager day to day?
Save our lives.
Particularly for this group.
Exactly.
Particularly for this group. Because there's the general job description.
The general, and then you can get into this group. Yeah.
But also, there is the 2025 version that a lot of people know now.
That's not
and there's the 90s version of rap music. Because I swear, people have a fairy tale story. When you bring up the Infamous album, because this album is aged better than a lot of albums out there. This album has just like, every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is incredible. I was like, how are these kids 18 years old doing this shit? It's insane.
That was the thing, right? There was the age, like the musical maturity. I'm not going to say personal because they were 18 and 19-year-old New York kids for sure.
Why?
But the musical maturity was years ahead of many children. We see a lot of kids now at 18 and 19, and there's a lot of things that are more preset.
Yep.
I can say, right? You do the House of Blues promo tour, then you go out opening for somebody, and then you get your run. It wasn't like that. I'm sure you guys did a lot of club dates.
It was mostly club dates. There was no tours. We was all club dates, spot dates. Like, we used to fill in when Craig Mack couldn't be there. We'd be on doing shows with Biggie. But it was like, you know, I gotta go to Queensbridge. I don't know the history of Queensbridge. I don't know the first side. I know nothing. I'm going in there in the middle of the night. I'm going in there at 5 a.m, picking them up. I'm like, I got to go to Hav's room and wake him up and step through bottles of liquor on the floor and like try to shake him up. And yeah, so it's like, you know, it's adult babysitting when you have to go somewhere. Like, you know, you're the chaperone in that
grown men,
not even
grown boys at that time, because they're not.
Yes, grown boys. Because then remember, we had to grow up early. So, you know, a 19-year-old now, a 27-year-old now doesn't equate to an 18-year-old back then from Queensbridge. You know, the things we saw, the things we did, how we moved, like, it's way different, you know? So getting through all of that was nuts. And then, you know, with shows, we got to go get that back half before we go on stage.
Promoters.
Yep. I got to make sure I don't lose the dats, right? Because we didn't have a DJ, because we didn't have that budget. We're doing show date. I mean, we're just doing club dates. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the DJ. I got the dats. I got to make sure, you know, I got backups, and, you know, we can't just download from the cloud real quick. I got to make sure everything's physical. And unfortunately, unfortunately, every time Shook Ones came on, it was like a melee. Like that was like the immediate fight song. If somebody had beef, or somebody was too drunk, or somebody just looked at somebody wrong, there was fights. And so I would have to literally, because also the sound man, if you're set up at a club, isn't always next to the stage, right? A lot of times, or we'll be set up in a ballroom at a hotel doing a show. The sound booth is like way in the middle of the stage. We're completely separated. So I'd always have to fight my way through and get back to them, to the car. And it was nuts, man. Like, and then the other part is safety, right? We can't pack because we're flying. So there's one story that P used to always tell, that I used to always tell, and I never knew he told it also until I saw it on a few podcasts. We was in Cleveland one time, and we were at a steakhouse. I forget who was with us from Lao. They took us out to some steakhouse, and then
I know where this is going.
At the end,
I know where this is going.
I see them take the knives. I'm like, all right, I know what y'all doing. I get it.
I lived this. I knew when you said steakhouse,
I knew where this was going,
bro.
Because they're like,
that was the main. Being a Southern artist, that was a big part of Waffle House.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you had to fly somewhere, because, you know, for many years we drove.
Yeah.
But then as airports started to open up, we used to have to fly. So we'd be like, yo, we need to, let's hit Denny's. So let's hit the spot right quick where we can get something. You know what I'm saying? Now, in certain cities, like in Atlanta, you can pull up to a gas station and get like, Crocodile Dundee type of things now. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't always like that. I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah. I know exactly what he was talking about.
I'm going to look at an IHOP completely differently now.
I mean, it was...
A steakhouse has a steak knife with a point, right? You go to IHOP and all of that, it's more of a blunted.
Yeah.
But it'll do the job.
I mean, take one of their tracks, Survival of the Fittest.
Straight up.
And these were young boys out of town, I would imagine, for the first time, dealing with different voice accents and different people, trying to holler at different types of chicks, you know what I'm saying? Different slang.
But with one of the hardest records out, right? That incites an energy that is so like.
I remember I was living in Atlanta in '95, and that was probably the longest conversation at that point that I'd ever had with Andre 3000 was when the Infamous dropped, and he was like, "I'm not tripping. This shit hard, right?" I said, "I can't get past Godfather 3. I can't get past it. Like this shit is really, really, really good." He's like, "And these niggas so young. Like these niggas so young." I'm like, "Yo, they're gonna be a problem when they hit like 25, 26. It's gonna be a problem with these dudes." But they were a little too loose, I feel, to take full advantage of what they had, you know?
But also, I think if they were to come out, if that kind of group that was that good came out like 5-6 years ago, it would be a whole. They would be one of the biggest groups. Period. Because that's why that album matured so well. Is because musically, sonically, lyrically, it was that good. It was just rap wasn't at that
time. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, they were way ahead of their time.
It's the preponent to drill, absolutely.
I don't even know that. I think it would be bigger than that. I don't even know if it.
No, what I'm saying is that everything that drill is now, they were then.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's particularly because drill gets separated between Chicago and New York. Now I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue semantics about that. But I do see what New York drill represents. I see the age group. I see how they move. And a lot of that is derivative of Mobb Deep, probably without even understanding that it is, because now that young YN mentality is day for day in New York. Not that it wasn't then, but those young kids back then, they were so self-aware, bro.
Yep.
That was the thing that I drew from it. I'm like, yo, these dudes are very, very self-aware. They know that they're young. They know they're probably a little too young to be out, not just talking like this, but living like this. But that literally was who they were. They had Hennessy jerseys. What for, bro?
No, but not only that, in the video, and they're underage.
Drinking. Yeah, I'm like, yo, what
could happen now?
No.
Right? The labels, somebody would have stopped that, or somebody would have called and been like complaining about that. Right? But he said it in that record. I'm only 19, but my mind is old.
Yeah.
Hey, they, like you said, they knew. They were very aware. It was, again, the maturity levels coming from our generation, like Generation X is special. I tell people this all the time. We are the translation generation. We're the last of analog and the very, very first of the invention of digital, right? Yeah. The way we're able to take that analog mentality and that do it yourself and understand, like really with our hands figuring it out and going into tech, it was just different. It was a different time, man. And how we grew up and, you know, being those latchkey kids and all that, like we were forced. Plus we had OGs.
True.
We had the other generations outside. I always say the kids after us, especially the Gen Zs, their OGs the internet. Like they just tap in the key. If they got a question, they need to learn something, this, that, and the third, style, girls, this, I can just go like this. And it's right there for them. We actually went outside and spoke to the cats that we looked up to.
Got lessons
you know what I'm saying?
from the people like, mouth to mouth. Yeah, mouth.
Exactly. Real life.
It's a great point.
I still think that's necessary. That's why I make myself as available as possible
1000%.
to the second generation after me and the third generation that's out there right now. I still feel like some of this knowledge still translates, right? Like not every aspect of it. But I tend to talk more about real life shit.
Yeah.
With artists nowadays. Because I feel like young artists, as far as getting money and all of that marketing and all of that stuff's there for them, right? That stuff's ready. That information is available. A lot of them come in the game knowing a lot of those nuances. But then it becomes now I'm getting real money from this rap shit and I'm touring and I'm not home and I miss my kids and I'm not seeing my girl and the relationship is getting distant and all of these type of things. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what I feel like my value is to a younger artist. Like how to make all of this that's happening in the industry make sense in real life.
But
I
don't
mean,
you
being
think
in
it has to be the person who comes out and finds you though? Because to Mike's point, they all got this, and
Yeah.
it's like we had to go figure it out because we didn't have anything. We had to go find somebody to talk to, or we had to go figure it out because we didn't have somewhere to just punch in anything, and millions of articles would come up, and we
I
could.
tried to be like the chauffeur, right? Like as soon as you
Yeah,
got in the game, I'm holding a sign, like you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
Come
come
get in
holler
my
at your
car.
boy, come holler at your boy. And I never wanted to sign anybody. I was always taught that if you're in a space, if you allow other good people into that space, if you help them get into
mm-hmm.
that space can remain
Mm-hmm.
what it was when you got there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that was me. I just wanted to give people the same way I had Jay Prince to give me game. I had Too Short to give me game. I had E40 to give me game. I wanted to be that type of an OG, right? That had
Mm-hmm.
those conversations that
Yeah.
were almost invaluable.
Yep.
Because nobody else, when those guys sign,
Nope.
they don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
don't understand a lot of that shit. And if
Yeah.
they try to go and talk to their
Less.
homies, they
Yeah.
understand
They
it
give
even
him bad
less.
advice, bad information, you know?
I mean, they kind of do it in sports, right? Like you go to the
Yeah.
NBA, they got the rookie
Yeah.
camps and all that kind of stuff. It's not really like there's a draft, though, in the music industry, you know what I'm saying? Where there's a certain time where you can get everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just kind of happens. That being said, as you're saying it, I mean, I think you do that already on your own, but that could be a thing. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of put out there. That could even be another content piece that's done on a regular where you do those bits and then that connects. Again, this is why I got into streaming. Because like Thomas was saying, they're all on devices now.
Yeah.
So we
Where they
have to
are.
go
Yeah.
where the attention is to create these connections. Then from there we can go offline. You know what I'm saying? And make
We
real
can
life
take it
connections.
offline. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like then create the IRL stuff, like the events and all those other things where people can really get together. But that's been my whole goal, right? But doing it through the lens of this culture, because at the end of the day, like for me, I look at hip hop as a whole way of life, right? A whole culture. It's everything that we do and how we express ourselves. But to me, it's the most authentic expression of our modern human experience, right? That's why it's not ethnicity based. It's not geographically based. It's an energy. It's a feeling. Like if we all turned our eyes off, we would be friends with every single kind of ethnicity on this planet through that culture. But because we use our eyes, we bring all of the prejudice because all that
Yeah.
information that we have that we've absorbed, even if we weren't paying attention, my eyes are picking up all this stuff in the peripheral and feeding that to our brains. Right now,
And
we
it
got to
gets
sift,
stored.
and it gets stored. But now we have to sift through that. But if our algorithms, our programming gets into bad loops, we're stuck on the negative stuff. We're not even seeing the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot out there. And that's why I'm again like this culture is done. I got so much to say about it. But again, that's why I started the streaming stuff. That's why I wanted to just have these platforms to be able to talk about it. And I've been holding back, man. My media guy has been wanting to just like leap out, you know? And so it's so much to be said because I think we do have that opportunity, especially with this younger generation. A lot of them are still in the clouds. There's a lot of them that want to be grounded, though. There's a lot of them that are going outside in the world and
Absolutely.
exploring. There's a lot of them that are asking questions and pushing the envelope and using their resources, like to do whatever they want. And I think it's amazing watching these
Yeah.
kids
I
do the
think
things
that
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 they're
was one of
doing.
the amazing things about Gavin Convention and places like that because you go out, me as a New York kid, go out to Frisco and you're meeting people, everybody's
Yep.
congregating from all over the country. So, guys from Texas, obviously guys from the Bay, a lot of guys from the Bay, LA, wherever. And we're white, black, because there's a lot of college radio as well. And so we're meeting face to face. We used to talk on the phone. Now we meet. And you said I hate to sound like the old fogey dude, but the prejudice thing didn't really matter. It was just like, yo, that's my dude, Steve Fournier he's got a record pool in Texas. I didn't really care that he was white or black. I just, and we met for the first time. We talked about Paul Stewart or a variety of people. Now, those things are missing as well. That kind of brings people together.
Well, that part of the industry was not driven
True.
around monetary incentive at that time. And everyone that was occupying those spaces generally wanted to know more about the culture, wanted
Absolutely.
to be more immersed in the culture. I don't think there was enough money flowing around for people to have the pure incentive of coming in and taking
Agreed.
financial advantage of people. We didn't even understand how far and how long this thing was going. And it was on its 20th year, but it was still breaking new ground, and it was still incorporating new technology. Like Riding Dirty was one of the first, we did Riding Dirty on the beta of Pro Tools. So, I mean, that 95, 96 era, we were literally charting new territory. Jeff, you might remember on Riding Dirty, there's literally a skit that says, if you're listening to this on a cassette tape, you need to flip this motherfucker over. But if you're listening to it on a CD, just let that motherfucker roll. Like, we had to instruct people. We didn't, because CDs were that was our first album that was released on a CD, and one of the first rap albums, like in that first year of CD implementation in hip hop. And I knew motherfuckers from my world didn't know what the fuck a CD was. That took a while to become common usage in the music industry.
Can you imagine kids today flipping a cassette over? Like, that wouldn't even make sense to them.
Well, the ill shit was around that time the auto reverse started too. I know I'm dating myself, but this was when the tape decks would auto reverse. And so you would just let it go in, and that motherfucker would stop, and the rotation would go the other day, and the machine would read it that way, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the era where I met you in, which was probably right after this road management era, because I met you during. Go ahead.
Because I'll give you the segue to how all that happened, right? So here, real quick, I'll finish the story with P. So the knife thing, right? So we're doing a show with Biggie that night. I give them their mics. We queue up, put my dad in. All of a sudden, I hear Biggie's music come on. Enough is DJing, I think. He starts spinning. I'm looking at the sound man. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, they're playing from the turntables. And I'm like, shit, all right. Next thing you know, the fucking crowd rushes the stage, pins the fucking security against the stage because for whatever reason they had the folding tables in front of them, and then they were in between that and the stage. So they just got pinned. Crazy melee. Everybody's fighting because everybody wanted to get that big. They were trying to test him. Cleveland was pretty wild back then.
It really was.
Finally, everything calms down. I finally get backstage and I see P and Half standing with knives like this, just ready for whatever, just ready for war. I'm like, I get it, bro. Let's go. So yeah, so it was just crazy that it was always something like that. You know what I'm saying, with them, and then we'll take it to Atlanta now. 95. I'm with the Source. We're on the Source tour, right? So back then, they remember the Source van tours, right? So Oos, that's the first time I met Oos. We go to Nikki's VIP together. Long story short, your man gets smacked in the face with a glass. Some chick threw a glass at him, like cracked his whole forehead open. Got him to the emergency room. We get there. I sneak him into the back to see the doctor. Cool. Now he's like, you're my brother forever. I want you to work with me. And so literally the next month, this was June, the next month I'm working at the Source. So the first, I think it was Bone Thugs and Harmony. I was on the cover of that one. That was the last cover. Rest in peace. Chimo Do shot, and that was my first. That was my first issue.
Back in Cleveland, anyway.
Right?
Full circle.
Right? You know
who's the editor? Who's the editor of the Source at that time? Was it James Bernard?
At that time was
Dario.
I think a Dario Strange. Yeah, I think it was.
Yo, he throwing some names I ain't heard in a long time, bro.
Wow, Dario, yeah.
So what were your official duties
then?
As a lifestyle editor? Were you a lifestyle editor then?
No. So all right, so this is where it gets funny. So we'll get funny in a second. I'm the mobile marketing manager.
What does that even mean?
Van tours. So basically, I do all the marketing for the van tours. I'm the liaison between the Source, the labels, and the drivers that are out there doing the events and driving around on tour. Right?
Which kind of makes sense from your experience.
Road management, right?
Yeah. Nah, for sure. And that's the thing, like, I hope people take away from this, follow your passions and just do what you love, and everything is going to just happen. Like, I never got a job from going on an interview. You know what I'm saying? There was always some other connection or something else. every interview
Good point.
I went on never worked. Like, you know, but anyway, so I'm at the source mall market manager, and then a gentleman by the name of Ray Benzino, Ray Dog, they started a record label called Surrender Records. And they put out they started this compilation, this Wise Guys compilation, where he was taking different rappers from different hoods in the Boston area, people who would normally fight, and put them onto one album and represent Boston. I was doing the sessions.
Hell no.
I was working with Rainbow Records, getting everything pressed up. I was mixing and mastering with Tony Dorsey over at Master Disc. Like, bro, it was all of that. And then they tried to get me to move to Boston to run the label without a contract.
No.
And I'm in Hawaii at the time. And I was just like, I guess I quit, y'all. Y'all gotta fire me or something. I'm not going, you know? And then I was doing like street promotions and all kinds of other stuff. Mm-hmm. And remember the Source Sports? Like the Source Sports magazine? So Chris Wilder was the editor-in-chief. I created a sneaker column in the Source Sports. And then from that, it led me to doing the sneaker column in the Source. And then they were like, will you do flavors of the month? Will you do this? And then I became the lifestyle editor from that. Actually, I'm the lifestyle and tech editor, or style and tech editor, something like that.
What was tech then?
I mean, tech was like, bro, it was two-way pagers. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Like Motorola Razors or, you know, PlayStation 2, Xbox. Like, bro, I was a beta tester for Xbox Live.
That's cool.
So being at the Source, when Xbox Live first went on, before they even pushed it to the public, they had like a few thousand people on there, I think, testing it out. And so I was one of the people on there playing Halo, you know, live. Before then, we would play Halo and like link 4 TVs together at somebody's house and link all this. Wow. Yeah, and that's how we would play.
That's the beginning of gaming as we know it now. Yeah. Technically. Yeah. Gaming, streaming, and whatnot.
Streaming and all that, yeah, you know. But, you know, it was funny because that showed like the heart of what this country is. And what I mean by that, it was the most racist motherfuckers on there that you could imagine.
And going back and forth, right, which still exists today.
Oh, my God. It was so bad. And now they still do it to this day. But again, once you take your eyes out of things and the ability to be physical, you see the truth. Or you feel it or you hear it. And you know what I'm saying? That's what we got. Wow. So I basically, like, it's fashion. Like, so I was like, you know, back then the Source was one of what you had the Source, you had the Vibe, you had Slam, and then you basically had the East Bay catalog. Those are the only places you could see new sneakers.
Sneakers, yep.
Right. And, you know, I basically got the job because I dressed well, I shopped, and I always wanted the new stuff. So it's like, they were like, you could do this well. And just developed all the relationships with everybody and became one of the sneaker guys. So that's mainly what I did. So flavors of the month, anything that didn't have a model, right? So it's all product based. So every time you saw flavors or any kind of like product roundups, or if you saw on the tech or the automotive side, like athletes or artists in their cars, I would do all of that too.
A lot of hats, my man.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it's all things that were literally in my wheelhouse. You know, I grew up around cars. I always loved cars. Technology was always my thing. I remember my dad bringing me remember the LCD Donkey Kong, the little flip thing back in like 84? I had that in 82.
Oh, you got it early.
My dad went to Japan, you know? Yeah, and then he brought that back. And then I was the only kid in school with it, so everybody used to buy batteries so we could all play on my drum. I was like, if y'all want to play, you got to buy batteries. I ain't buying batteries.
Battery.
Yeah, if y'all want to, you know? So like technology, it was always there. And then what I would do is incorporate the other things that I enjoyed. So I would take action sports, right? I surfed. So I would put like surf gear sometimes in there, sneak that in. I started putting Burton into the magazine and other ski gear at a time when you could only buy Burton on the mountain. Yeah, they didn't have flagship stores yet. And it was only at ski spots. You don't really have ski spots anywhere. So it was only on the mountain.
Yeah.
Right. And that led to me starting to do product placement for them. Right. So I would do product placement. I was doing product placement on 50, like all kinds of stuff, which ended up into other drama because the Eminem stuff with Benzino came up.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome to Merrick Studios, where stories take the mic and culture comes alive.
We're not just a network, we're family, bringing you smart, soulful, unfiltered conversations.
And this season, we're bringing the heat with our biggest lineup yet. Whatever you're into, music, sports, business, we got you covered.
Merrick Studios, where the conversation starts and keeps going.
Check out our full lineup, including Unglossy with Bun B, Jeffrey Sledge, and myself, Tom Frank. Now streaming at wearemerrickstudios.com.
Master the art of lyricism with Pendulum Mink, the first school for rap. Learn elite techniques through immersive lessons, real-world exercises, and guidance from hip-hop icons. This is where MCs sharpen their skills and glow boldly on the mic. Ready to level up? Visit pendulummink.com and start your journey today.
And now, back to the show.
So where is food at in all of this, Mike? And all of these things that are happening in your life, moving from the Bay to Hawaii and back to New York, almost moving to Boston, all of these things are happening. Where's food at in your life?
Food. All right, so I'll rewind. My mom is vegan, or was vegan. So she raised me vegan. I was vegan for the first 9 years of my life. And in Hawaii, it's not that it's strange, but as a kid, it's like you're watching all the other kids go to the lunch trucks, to the trucks getting lunch plates, and I can't even have plate lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like what everybody else is eating, or I gotta have the special meal at school in the cafeteria because everything's fucking Jello, right? And so my mom was like, if you want to eat anything else, you have to cook it yourself. And called my dad, got recipes, and started roasting chicken and all kinds of stuff at like 9 years old. And so food for me has always been something I enjoyed, I loved, because it was like a social thing to me, right? Because the other things is like, my grandfather on my mom's side, every time we had a family gathering, he would barbecue and he would sneak me food, or my stepfather, if we went to the Bay and we were here, we go sneak and get a burrito when my mom wasn't looking, or my dad, and you know what I'm saying? So food became like a treat or like this thing. So I wanted to explore it. And then randomly, my first job was a prep cook, like, working in a restaurant. My dad's lady at the time was the head chef. And so she got me a prep cook job. And so food has always been that. In the 90s, what food was banging out the corporate cards.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People like Maddie C, Scott Free, we all
Green Amex.
We all want to go. Let's go eat. So our game used to be, where can we go and eat the craziest meal and smoke? So we used to shut down Blue Ribbon.
Absolutely.
Hang out in there with the managers and smoke.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Blue Ribbon Sushi. And on Sullivan. So we used to chill there.
Sullivan. Right.
They shut it down. In the back, there was like this little galley window. It was a weird thing that actually opened. So we used to always ask to sit back there. So every time most of the people cleared out or enough to where we could burn, we just open that up and blow the smoke out. Or, Monday nights, I think it was Monday nights, was Stretch Armstrong at Bowery Bar. Go get the little corner booth, order the chicken mash and spinach, and then just roll up and burn it down in there until somebody tried to kick you out. It was just always that, and so food, just became, and I always cooked for my family too, when I was married, and it kind of just became my alchemy. It became something I was just really good at and I just love to do,
But you love to pair it with treats.
I was going to ask that question.
Well,
how did that come about?
That actually came out.
In dining, right? You wanted to smoke and dine and pair with treat, right?
Yeah.
So how does that go to where you find out there's room to combine the two?
Well, so I used to always either eat and smoke, or you smoke and eat, right? It's either one, right? And so it was like the idea of well, how do you just combine that into a singular experience, and just eat and get high off of eating? That was kind of the theory with it, And from that, I met a chef from Seattle that was doing this as well. And we started a company. Long story short, it didn't work out. And then I just kind of got the bug and started doing it myself. And I learned how to cook gummies from scratch, and figured out this whole science of it and understanding how you have to cook the bricks, which is the ratio of water to sugar in a product, so you understand if it could be shelf stable or if it's just going to melt or grow all kinds of stuff you don't want to eat that make you sick. And just just figured it out, just kept going.
Wow.
And that turned into Chef for Hire.
And
And
so
when did
you
you
went
realize?
from
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
lifestyle to making it a platform for yourself, right? I mean, that's kind of the big transition.
Well, it's always been like, and that's the thing for me is how do you live your life through everything you're passionate about and explore and make money off of
Make it
that,
a
right?
job.
Right. So that's why again, that's why I'm such a big proponent of hip hop, because I learned knowledge of self through joining Zulu Nation, right?
Mm.
I heard things about what you do and working on yourself through my mom and other spiritual people around us, but I learned knowledge of self, and it clicked in a different way when I got into Zulu Nation. And so that whole understanding that everything that you need is here individually, all of us. Not one of us is going to find our true happiness outside of us and make that permanent. Like it just doesn't work that way. It's happiness is total satisfaction amongst oneself, amongst you. If you're not happy internally, anything you put out externally is show, it's fake, it's going to go away in a while, it's temporary, right? And so I had to learn at a very young age, like to be okay with being different. Coming from Hawaii, moving to San Francisco, and then getting introduced to hip hop, becoming a b-boy, but still surfing. There's like, my dad's picking me up after school, or we're coming from a morning sesh in the truck with surfboards. But I'm hopping out with fat laces and, you know what I'm saying? Like listening to Run DMC, and it's conflicting, but I'm like, but that's me. Like that's what I love, you know? And so it's kind of like all of those things and just living the lifestyle. Even from after the source, like I created LTD magazine, and that was just me reflecting our culture through somebody participating in it. And then that turned into another magazine, Inked magazine, being able to see something I loved, which was tattoos in that culture, and then being able to share that in a way that didn't pigeonhole it into just being about like tattoos. It was more, this is the lifestyle. This is people choosing to adorn art that they help to create for life on their bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a walking canvas now. It moved away from just being like the flash tattoos on the wall when you're a drunk sailor going to get. And so again, it's I hope that we can all live this way. It's like that's just been my goal, is to, if we can all go inside, we'll meet the people outside. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're in spaces where we don't need to be around a lot of people because we're not doing that inner work, and we can't create the boundaries we need, or we can't express who we are and what our needs are. You know what I'm saying? And so we allow all these different weird energy.
But this comes with a certain level of self-awareness, though, Mike, to be
1,000%.
fair, right?
1,000%.
So when did you realize, the self-awareness that, I realize I'm different. I realize it takes work to live in this way, and maybe other people might need this level of awareness.
I'll say that's kind of twofold, right? So I think moving out here and seeing hip hop culture and seeing who's participating, who's really in it. So I've always been racially ambiguous, right? Nobody's ever guessed my ethnicity. Depending upon who I'm with, like I could be a bazillion different things, right? Especially when I'm around hip hop, most people just think I was mixed, right? Black and white. That's what most people just thought.
No, you're the rock of hip hop for sure.
The wild thing is, most people don't think about my last name or where it could potentially come from. Like if you say Salman Rushdie, right? Or you say Prince Salman or this, you think Middle East.
Yeah.
You say Michael Salman.
That could be
right.
Could be Italian,
And
right? And
especially
we
in
don't
our
emphasize
culture,
that.
right? What I learned is we shortcut so many things and use muscle memory. So my name is spelled, well, if you spell Salm, what's the next letter? Usually.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Right? Salmon.
Salmon.
Right? So I was usually Mike Fish or Mike Salmon or whatever, right? And so I used to always tell people I'm a man, not a fish. My last name is Salman, right? But my last name is Arabic. My grandfather is from Bethlehem. Like, so I'm part Palestinian.
I
Like,
never knew that. I
grandfather-
never asked. I never knew that.
Right.
Never in a million years.
But if you get me around Palestinians, especially my kids, they all guess it. It's the strangest thing. And then, my grandfather went to the Philippines, married a Filipino and Spanish woman. So that's my dad's makeup. My grandfather's Cherokee and we think Scottish or something. We don't have a record on him because he was like some diplomat, CIA, some shit. He goes to Brazil, marries a Brazilian woman, and my mother's born in Brazil. The sister next to her is born in Brazil. Wow. The rest are born in Africa, right? So I'm carrying all this information through DNA.
Wow.
That's why I tell people, eyes closed. Ethnicity, race has nothing to do with it. Like, it just doesn't. Because I know this, especially when we got all these arguments in the culture that we have right now, I don't know anybody who will negate my participation or contributions to the culture as a person. Right?
No, not at all.
But then when it comes down to this ethnicity argument about FBA and this, and it's like, it's craziness, right? We have to get past that, because this is all about divide and conquer. It's divide and rule. If we're sitting there arguing with each other about semantic stuff that we can never prove, or nobody can be right, because especially if you come from the African diaspora, you have no clue exactly of what we can't trace it. You've been split from family. You've been split from tribe. You've been split from everything you know about yourself, except from 500 years ago. You know? But prior to that, we don't know. So even for FBA to be arguing with the rest of the African diaspora, acting like they're not part of it, is like. But what it's doing, though, this is why I'm so adamant about celebration. If we were in the mode of celebration instead of destruction, instead of tearing each other down because of that scarcity mindset, we'd be in a much different place right now.
Pushing people
We'd be
out.
looking to bring people in instead of pushing people out.
Exactly. Right? We wouldn't be blocking things, because what we're actually blocking is love. And we're inviting negativity. You know, we're inviting the vultures to keep feeding off of us. Because we're decaying. We're killing ourselves. You know? So I know we went off on a little bit of a tangent, but like, I think these things are important to talk about, right? Because again, if nobody's going to negate my contributions to this space, why do we negate other people? Because they're visibly white, or they're visibly non-black, or they're right. It just, to me, we're working against ourselves, and we're adding fuel to a fire that they started. And this culture is so strong. We've sampled everything. We've gone so far to sample things that have never been sampled before. We're touching regions and cultures that never would have understood this culture until we built that bridge, that sampling bridge. Right? And we make all these connections. Like hip hop, I believe, literally, like, you know how you see the airlines and they show all their travel destinations, they see all those lines? That's what hip hop did through sampling. And it just kept going and going and going. And now we have all these different destinations that we can go to, and not only go to, but see our footprint. And not only that, see the reflection of that seed that was planted by their expressions. That's why we go to these other countries. You can go to Asia right now, and b-boying is prevalent as ever. It's huge.
DJ culture in Korea is bananas right now.
Right? DJ culture, all of these things, right? Here in the US, we're fighting about a fictional date.
You wasn't there, and
you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't really matter.
Like, all right. So let's get into this one, because I really want to talk about this. So I just I use ChatGPT. I asked, who created jazz and who created rock and roll? What do you think it said?
It didn't say black people.
Yes. It said African American culture, but not one person created it. It was an evolution. Right? So how could one person have created hip hop? Hip hop wasn't even hip hop on the date they said it was created. Nobody called it hip hop then, period. Right? So if I created something, I'm going to name it. I'm going to put a date on it. I'm going to do all of this shit, and I'm going to say I did it.
Like when they find a new planet, right? They find a new star. The person that finds it puts his name on it, right? It becomes a Solomon Freeman Sledge, Frank, whatever, asteroid, right?
Yep. Or if you're born, you get a birth certificate. Here's your birth certificate. Or if you're a product, if you're a product, right? If it's a record, there's a manufacturing date. If it's a product, there's a manufacturing date. Show me that for hip hop. Because if you say that's the date, then wasn't graffiti before that? Right? Isn't graffiti one of the elements of hip hop? Weren't the last poets before that? Wasn't Gil Scott-Heron before that? Wasn't jazz? Wasn't all of the records that we sampled before that date.
The dances that are derivative of African tribal representation.
So my thing is, hip hop isn't a creation; it's an evolution. It evolved from everything that was contributed by these cultures, especially African American culture, right? That led up to all of this, and it's still evolving and growing. So just like Hawaii, the Big Island is the largest, but it's the youngest island because it's still growing. A volcano still erupts. We're still contributing to this. We're still growing. And my theory is that because we sample, it's synonymous with foraging. It's how we learn to move around the globe, period. Foraging and sampling are exactly the same thing. We just foraged the things that were around us at that time in the Bronx. It started with our parents' crates, their closets, the people in the OGs around us, the TVs, the movies, and all this other stuff, and all the music that came prior to that. How can we give it a date? We're giving it a date so we can argue about something that can never be proven. So we're distracted and their hands are continuously in our pockets. We're so distracted. We couldn't even celebrate breaking being in the Olympics. Bro, that's the biggest sporting stage in the world. The most recognized sporting stage in the world. The longest running. To have something that came from gang culture to stop violence become a sport on that stage?
Australian girl.
Some chick from Australia that was garbage.
That was terrible. Yeah.
The worst representation.
But that doesn't matter to me, right? Because it didn't take away the fact breaking was still in the Olympics.
Still in the Olympics. Yeah.
It distracted. It distracted.
But that's what we should walk away with. And that's why I'm so adamant about celebration.
Well, wait a minute. Now I got a counterpoint to you though. Is if you think about hip hop, right? We just celebrated the 50th anniversary, right? And I know you're not saying a date,
which is proverbial, right?
Proverbial, but at the same time, it was a celebration. Like it did mark a date for us to talk and to educate and to celebrate something.
All right, but this is my issue. We don't celebrate on our own. They're programming us to celebrate when we're told or allowed to. So we have birthdays. Right? Those are normal. Everybody gets a birthday, right? You might have an anniversary, something at your job, whatever. Yeah. What else do you celebrate on a regular? That's not a national holiday. That's not on a calendar. You know how many national day of this, that, and the third they have? Because they want us to tell us how to celebrate.
There's several of them on every day.
Every day. There's National Hot Dog Day, Burger Day, Cheeseburger Day, Double Cheeseburger Day, Smash. Bro, it's wild. We have to step back sometimes from this to see these things. Otherwise, they just become normalized in our head. We are not celebrating intentionally. If we celebrated intentionally, I don't think we would continue to give away the most powerful and monetizable thing that we have, our authenticity, which creates influence.
And you got a great point here, Mike, because I harken back to the 50th anniversary and the Yankee Stadium show. There were a lot of celebrations of hip hop around the country, but no one took more offense than rappers that were not allowed to perform at Yankee Stadium. But there was a lot of pushback from that because inside we looked at it as the biggest event commemorating.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know if hip hop factors or hip hop creators or any of the leaders or pillars were involved with even putting that on.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's corporatized, right?
Right, exactly.
They create the dates and the celebrations to monetize it. But who gets the majority of the money?
People that are not of the culture.
Exactly. Right? So that's my point. Is like, when are we going to take control of those celebrations and monetize for ourselves? We're not even celebrating the fact of everything that's happened. I was told in the 90s, Jeff, I don't know if you were ever told this. I was told regularly, enjoy it while it lasts. This is a fad. It's not
get
real
a real
music.
job.
Go look at the other music departments, study them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was supposed to teach you to work other music, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was freestyle.
And High 97, when I moved out here, was a dance station. Freestyle, right? So when I went to my first summer jam, it was at the Jacob Javits Center. K7 hosted that. '94, they switched that format. And now in 2000, I don't know what year it happened, but I know now in 2025, Hot 97 is a top 40 station.
Yeah.
So that means we're pop music now. So we've gone from not even being recognized as music to pop. Just means popular, right? So we are one of the most popular genres of music. So when are we going to celebrate that though? And stop giving this away? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great that we made it to Louis Vuitton.
Absolutely.
But I know y'all remember Louis Vuitton telling us they don't want drug dealers wearing their clothes. Right? And I see drug dealers sitting front row at every single show. I see drug dealers in their campaigns now.
Sponsored.
What changed?
They're sponsored now.
Exactly. We didn't change. So if one of the oldest brands in the world, one of the most outwardly, openly racist brands in the world, will change their values and ethos and sacrifice those things for money, because that's what they're doing it for. They're not doing it because they like us. They're doing it because they have to do it because we move the needle. Why can't
We're representative of the lifestyle that they believe caters to their brand.
No. Caters to sales.
To selling their brand.
Sales, right? I don't think we're the lifestyle that they want catered to their brand at all. Like, I'm going to talk about it. When did they start making clothes Fat Joe could wear? Like, that's not a shot at Fat Joe. That's, bro,
very
Louis
slim
Vuitton, I was at a point where I could barely wear some of their stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but now you have basketball players that are millionaires.
Exactly.
Young black people of color that are millionaires.
Exactly.
Football players that are people of millionaires. Black and brown from baseball and soccer, right? And they all have this expendable income.
So,
and they want to look the part.
But why aren't we, if they're going to change everything to keep making those dollars, why can't we just do that for ourselves? Why can't we make the brands and do that for ourselves? And the argument usually is we didn't have the resources. We have the resources
now. You got
now.
to start somewhere.
The other argument is they're way ahead. They started somewhere. We all got to start somewhere.
We control Fashion Week. I went to Fashion Week about 2 years ago, and I had a long conversation with Don. I was like, yo, this is dope. He was like, yo, this is not what people think, bro. He's like, they wouldn't even let us in these shows.
That's what I'm saying.
They wouldn't even let us in the rooms back then. And now we control almost every room.
Right.
And I believe, honestly, rest in peace to Virgil. I think he would have been part of
absolutely
a new way of looking at African diaspora through fashion. I think that was going to be the leading point, because you see that became a big part of a lot of people's campaigns about 5-6 years ago, right? And I think it was inevitable, right, that Virgil and Pharrell and Kanye and them at a certain point had the power, had the resources, had the vision to actually create the next fashion house, because one of the biggest fashion houses was relying on them for revitalization.
If a company like Louis will compromise all their values and ethos, that means they need us, right? If they need us, that tells me we don't need them. We need us. Like, we just need us.
We have to look at us the way that we have to see ourselves the way they see us.
Yeah.
As their threat. And not in the way that we've been told we're a threat, but in the way they can see
the value.
The value, which is the threat to them.
Basically, what they're doing is, I think Hakeem from Channel Live told me, the rappers are the cotton. Like, the influence is the cotton. They're just picking it whenever they need it. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely an interesting take. I'm not fully opposed to that. I think there's merit in that, you know.
It's a tough one, bro. I just think, again, we're at a transition point. What industries haven't we touched that we really want to touch right now? What penthouse aren't we in right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we never thought we would be here. Nobody had these things on their bingo cards back then, or we'd have more ownership right now. We just keep growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They keep trying to tell us lies. Oh, it's not. Oh, the culture is this. Oh, it's dangerous. No, we still continue to have the biggest records, the biggest, like, moments. It just keeps happening. But we just keep wanting to go back to Reebok and, let's go revive Reebok, Shaq and Iverson. Let's go to Reebok. You know what I'm saying? Or Toby. Like, Toby just did a deal.
Another dead brand. Yeah,
right? Reebok was the number one brand when Michael Jordan got signed to Nike. They've never been close to that since. And we just keep going back trying to give, and why? They were trying to, Master P and Baron Davis were trying to raise $800 million to buy Reebok during the pandemic.
Argument, don't buy it, just start it something new.
Yeah.
If it takes, what he's saying is, if it takes you, Tom, if Reebok wants to rebuild and rebrand and regrow, right, their brand, but they know they can't do it without you, then what's to stopping you from going directly to the people that are looking to receive the vision?
Although
the only reason you don't do it is if you believe that there's more value to going with them than there is in believing in yourself.
Although my argument
and that's
would
the audacity I'm talking about.
Would be
that's
though,
if
you're trying to purchase it, right, and take it over, what you're ultimately purchasing is a brand that at least somebody's ever heard of, right? It's going to take you you're 3 steps ahead of starting something.
But even if they've heard of it, Tom, they're not going to buy it if it's not cool.
No, I'm agreeing with you there. But if certain individuals were to purchase it, right, and actually make it theirs, I think that's an acceleration to get to where they need to get, because you're starting with something that existed.
I don't know if the perception will ever be that it's there.
Yeah. But there's not a collective, because we're not in a celebration mode. We're in a destruction mode. We still want to tear things down because that's how we've been programmed, right? If I see somebody rise, they're going to tear them down because I want that position. I want that money. Right?
Yeah. And people believe that's finite.
Yeah, I want these spots.
People believe that that's finite.
Yeah.
Even though I see more and more billionaires every goddamn year. I see football contracts, basketball contracts, baseball contracts get bigger and bigger every year. But we are constantly telling ourselves that there's only enough room.
Yep.
There's just so much room.
There's not this, there's not that. Yeah. And it's because, again, one, we don't know who we are. Like when we say we, who's we? Who can be involved in we? Just like I was talking about before, who can be involved in hip hop? Who's part of that?
Right.
If we're arguing, if FBA is arguing against Afro anything else, African, like that's wild, right? So imagine anybody else
arguing
or being part of it. How do you identify who can participate now?
Who can even, by arguing about who can be a part of it. Right?
Mm-hmm. So where's the trust? Where's the camaraderie? You know what I'm saying? Where's the building? I mean, honestly, Bun, that's why I came up with the Fly Private Social concept, was to create spaces where we feel safe to gather so we could be our authentic selves, you know, through the lens of hip hop, you know?
Well, talk about that and about the Chef Hire thing too.
Well,
talk about that.
So Fly Private Social for me is, again, we're the driving force of global culture. We got nowhere to go to celebrate it. We got nowhere that's ours. You look at Soho House's programming in the United States, especially in the major cities. How much of that is programmed around what we do, right? Why is DJ Premier spinning at Soho House, bro?
So other people can feel like they're cool,
but
be a part of the culture.
Again, so now we're giving the culture away piece by piece. We're here to break off that chip. You can take a chip home with you, instead of saying, "Hey, why don't you just come to what we do and really feel like, you know what I'm saying, and create a space and allow everybody else in." Because honestly, like Soho House isn't even a social club. They tell you don't speak to other members unless you know them. So how's that even a social club?
Yeah.
Right? And I think if we can create spaces where we can actually gather, see the culture celebrated. Like the idea is to have it celebrate everywhere it goes, right? So each city will celebrate the local history, traditions, and culture. So New York, or Brooklyn, has all Brooklyn people on the wall. If we went to Houston, be all Houston people on the walls, right? Go to ATL, all ATL people on the wall. And then how do you crowdfund? How do you build where everybody can participate, whether through membership, whether through real estate, whatever it may be, but open it up so there's opportunities? Because it's like we do so much stuff where it's just about us, but it's for the culture.
Right.
I want to monetize it, but it's for the culture, right? How do we monetize things for us, for the community? It can't be everybody, obviously, right? But how do we open those things up? And I think if we create spaces with that kind of intention, that leads to other kinds of collaboration within the space from the people, from the people participating, the members, you know?
And now you put that, I'm sure you can join that with Chef Hire as well as a kind of collaborative kind of thing.
Right? Is that food is a draw?
I mean, food is a universal language. Everybody eats. I don't know
Absolutely.
anybody who doesn't eat, right? So I want to have a conversation, a true conversation. I want to bring or have the opportunity, ability to be able to bring all kinds of people together. What are the universal language? It's
Absolutely.
food, right? I think food is the greatest one. To me, the other one is hip hop. It's not universal to
Music.
everybody, but it is universal to a lot of people, right?
They're aware. Even if they're not immersed, they're
Yep.
aware.
Right? And so through food and gathering around food, we break bread, right? That's part of it. Food is part of every celebration. Every
Absolutely.
celebration. Right?
Life,
That's how
death,
humans commune.
everything.
You
Right?
know?
And then if we take food as knowledge, wisdom, understanding, information, energy, food can be anything that we exchange.
Food
Right?
for the soul, food for the mind.
Food for
Right?
thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so again, that's why the pillars are community with a capital unity, because if we communicate unity, unity becomes our capital, right? Culinary, because food in all kinds of forms, and then culture, right? But celebrating of cultures, because everything is an amalgamation of different cultures, especially if you're mixed, especially if you're living in this country, especially if you mess with hip hop, right? It's multicultural. We're multi hyphenates at this point. We don't have to do one thing. We don't have to. I think we're so used to being in these boxes of things, but if we allow it to, if we really allow hip hop to breathe, it's broken every barrier that used to be in front of us.
Now, when you with your chef hired thing, how can I? So is it a hip hop? Do you?
It's me. It's me.
Is it a? It's
me,
you.
of course.
It's you. So it's not a hip hop thing. It's a
But I
mic
mean-
thing, and you're the amalgamation of
Well,
hip hop,
I think
but
what
all
he's
these
saying is
other
that
things as
I
well.
think what he's saying is that it all emerges from him. Like Chef Hire is
Yeah.
an amalgamation of everything that he kind of represents as an example to other people to be able to come in and be whatever it is that they feel they represent. And at the very least, meet somebody you didn't know, maybe find out how much you have in common, or at the most, like actually build real relationship, real community, right?
Well, the other thing with Chef for Hire, right, it's cannabis, right? And so cannabis, what I learned, we have an endocannabinoid system. So we have a system in our bodies that regulates, it just wants to create homeostasis. It works with every other system in our body. That's why, you can get sleepy, right? You can be happy. You can get hungry. You can help to solve pain issues or other things of that nature. And again, it just wants to create homeostasis. And when I found that out, I was like, well, how do I introduce people to that? Food. Right? Conversation, breaking bread. Again, everybody eats. So most people, especially people who don't smoke or never participate or don't want to participate with cannabis, are resistant to that fact because it's not taught in textbooks. It's not even taught in medical textbooks. Like doctors don't even learn this. Yet the information is there. They don't learn it because they can't use cannabis because they schedule it at 1 and they say it's not medicine, even though cannabis was in the pharmacopoeia in 1851. There was over 100 prescriptions that had cannabis in it. It was one of the most widely used medicines in this country, period. But come around in 1937, all of a sudden it's racially fueled, right? And now it's all about race and control. And they create prohibition to hurt people of color. It was black people, it was black, Hispanic, and Filipinos, right? That they named. And they demonized this plant. And until this day, it's still, if you think about back problems and all kinds of other issues didn't start until the 20th century.
True.
Right? One of the theories is cannabis used to grow freely. Cannabis is a healing plant. It reciprocates information back into everything that grows around. Right? So that grass that grows out that the cows graze on or the chickens feed, they're eating cannabinoids through that. Right? You eat those animals, now you're getting that. All of that is gone. Another part is control is cotton, right? It grows 3 times faster than cotton and it doesn't deplete the soil. Cotton, you have to rotate crops.
Right.
Every single time. Cannabis, you can keep planting, keep growing. They don't want that. Cotton is one of the hardest things to pick. It's difficult. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of human labor. Cannabis can be automated now, or this one thing called the sun that's been given life to everything in this universe since our existence can grow it for you. You know what I'm saying? They don't want any of that. It's all about control, right? But we get stuck on the little things. Oh, I can make money in the legal business. All right, but we need to fight to get this off of the schedule, and you know what I'm saying, just be a free thing that we can all, you know, utilize for our health and our betterment. But it's all control. Even the industry is controlled to a way that, like, they're talking about Schedule 3 right now, which has potential to put a huge stop to everything legalization has done to this point, and maybe put it into the pharmaceutical industry's hands. Because a Schedule 3 drug can only be delivered by a pharmacist through medical dispensaries. That's another lever of control, right?
Wow.
So, you know, they got Wiz Khalifa signing up for it now, and he's promoting, you know, we need to schedule this to 3. I spoke to somebody at the FDA. He said they're going to amend it. I don't trust this country.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it could easily just go that route where all of a sudden, because look at Dwayne Reed's and all Walgreens are hurting right now.
Yeah.
If they
going away.
Weed,
yeah, they'd be right back in
They
the
change
game.
it significantly.
And think of the tax money that the government would get.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so again, I think we need to broaden our vision a bit. And I believe that's still, again, doing that inner work so we can see clearer, step away from some of this stuff and really see like what they're doing. It's wild out here.
Yeah, man. So what's next for you, bro? What you doing? What's next?
What's next? Man, I brought the podcast back. So I got Mask Off with Hawaii Mike.
I watched a couple of episodes. It's dope. I saw you in, I saw the episode you in Spinner.
Yep. Yeah. So we brought video to it now. So that's been fun. And then I'm hopping into the streaming space because, like we were talking about before, we got to go where, you know, the attention is. And so I'm gonna start live streaming and just build that channel up and really get out there. I did media for so long, or even management, like, you know, when I was managing Nigel and just being out there. And when I went on to that's the other thing I didn't say. The first part was that like child journey, and the second part was in 2017, I stopped drinking, and it just changed everything for me. I found breath. Breath is the first thing we do when we're born. We breathe in. It's the last thing you do before you die is you breathe out. When's the last time you thought about breathing?
It's involuntary, so you don't really...
I think about it because I work out.
Well, it's autonomous, right? Because your system is just going to automatically do it.
Yeah.
It's going to kick in, and you're automatically going to breathe. But we breathe when we need it. We breathe when we need to center ourselves, when we need to calm down. We breathe when we need to hold our breath to go into the water, right? But if we thought about breathing on a regular, we might create some more gratitude around this stuff that we can't grab. But without it, we don't have life. But we care about the things that we can grab and value these things more, right? Or even our bodies, right? But breathing intentionally can put you into such a space, whether it's meditation, you know, actual meditations, walking meditations, whatever else, box breathing, like Wim Hof breathing. Like there's so many different things. Breath is so important. But again, we're not present enough to think about these things. So for me, like my goal even with the streaming is just to share our oneness and to inspire everybody to go on that individual journey to become their best self, whatever that may mean for you. And it's not too late until it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like we can all do this. I see so many of my people are like, I can't work out. Like, why? I don't have time. Motherfucker, you just said you binge watched this series.
That's different, though, man. That's very different.
Word.
And you can watch the movie while you work out.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Every gym has has treadmills with TV screens on it now.
I mean,
absolutely.
Your crib. And that's my thing is we can work out anywhere. We can do anything. It's a matter of getting into the mindset of starting, right? Into the mindset of doing, I want to be better. I want to be healthy. Thinking of myself 20 years from now, not thinking about what I fucked up on yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, we all see our parents right now, you know, whether they're healthy or going through things, that's potentially where you can be. You know what I'm saying? When you're their age, we got to work on that now. Like we have to work on being present and being in the moment so we enjoy life. But we also have to work to how and where we're going to be health-wise in the future. so we can be there once we get there. And again, I think for me, people put me on this pedestal now because I started this journey. And I'm like, bro, I still eat what I want to eat. I still go out where I want to go out. I still smoke. I still do all of these things. It's balance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We can't go too far. If I drink too much water, I'm going to get sick. Like,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's finding your balance. I'm not saying my balance. I'm saying your balance and where you're at right now. And we got to get rid of the judgment. We got to get rid of the self-criticism as best we can, because that stops us from even starting, because we're comparing somebody else who's been on their journey for years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do we just get this started? So, with the streaming, it's just like, having real talks and just being out there. And again, like sharing parts of my journey. Like, I'm gonna go interview my chiropractor, interview my kinesiologist, and talk to these people to show them, like, this is kind of what we do. Share what I do and how I stay healthy and what my mindset is, and that it's not going to change your whole lifestyle in a way where it's like now you're a monk and you're only over, you can't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Word. Yeah.
Let's have fun. Like, let's do this to have fun, and let's make it fun.
Balance and moderation. My mom always told me moderation.
Well, like the sign says behind you, Tom, that life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is right.
Find your balance, and everything should work out for you.
The more you do those things and put yourself into those positive loops, the more the muscle memory starts to become that. The more your discipline is easier, the more you make better choices. It all flows. It all ties together, because it's doing that right now to the people that are binge watching, eating ice cream, not doing anything, right?
That's their routine now. That's where they're sitting now.
And they got really good at that program, right? They're very disciplined in that,
Yeah.
And now it's just how you go that way.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it was dope, man. I mean,
and I talk to this guy. I talk to this guy all the time.
We can talk to food. We can do this with a 10-hour podcast. We got to bring you back because we got a lot more to talk about.
He never ceases to bring clarity. Like I said, it's good talking to people, because even with Mike, even if you think you got it, Mike's like, even if you don't, that's fine too, right? Like, you don't really have to have it, right? Like, that's gonna be okay too. That's cool too,
Yep.
And sometimes we kind of got to be reminded of that. We can get so caught up in the whirlwind of everything that they tell us we need to care about and we need to be concerned about, and things that try to pull our attention and pull us away for whatever reasons and give us a different perspective and try to shift our perspective and our purpose in a way that benefits them more than it does us,
Yeah.
Mike, man, thank you so much, bro. Like, I feel like I know you and I didn't know you. I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of shit that I didn't understand. It makes all the sense in the world now that I understand.
Sense now?
Yeah. No, just because Mike's so likable, Mike's so personable, right?
Yep.
Everybody likes Mike. He's very easy to get along with, and it just listen to him talk about his life. This is just kind of who he is. It's kind of who he's been, and he's not allowed life. And as we all know, being involved in the hip hop and all of this stuff, man, it can pull you in a bunch of different ways, and it's made some really, really good people that you don't even recognize anymore. You know what I'm saying? But Mike, you have found a way to be very even keeled through this world. You know what I'm saying? If you're stressed, you don't wear it. You don't wear it at all. I have to say. And man, thank you so much for just being, bro. Like, just being here, like, and just being in this world and being authentic to yourself. And you're even a better person than I thought you were. And I thought you were a great guy now. But this shit all makes sense, bro. Like, listening to your conversation and your journey and your walk, I understand you a lot better. And you make even more sense now as to how you are. Because we operate in a space where you don't have to be kind. You don't have to be nice. And you still get rewarded. And you still get put on a pedestal. And you still get glorified and all of that stuff. So kudos to you, man, for not being tainted. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hats off.
Hey,
off. And being available to me, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Making yourself available.
Hey, bro. Like, always, man. I think, and that's important, too. I know we didn't touch on that, but you and I have had a lot of real deep personal talks. And, I hope more of us do. I know you do it. I just hope more of us do that with each other, because there's so many issues that we think we're doing alone, or it's only happening to us. Everybody's going through something. Like,
That's true.
everybody. And everybody has something that they need to be heard. they just need to be listened to sometimes and just acknowledged and like get things off of their chest. And then maybe they don't act out in another way. So, I hope that people do take that away and have conversations, man, because they're important, bro. Like we helped each other through some deep times.
Very, very, very real. We went through some very deep personal transitions in life during our friendship, and not at the same time either.
Yep.
So it's been a blessing to have a friend like you in my corner that can kind of keep me going, keep me lifted up, keep me encouraged. And I'm glad that I've been able to be that type of friend to you as well. Yeah. And I think that's what he's talking about when it comes to community. The more people you have in your community, the more people you have to help you work through things, and the more people you're in a position to actually help get through their shit.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike. And I'll really say this. I'm going to get in the mindset of celebration. Get in the mindset.
Hey, everybody, let's celebrate. Celebrate every single day you wake up. If you wake up, your eyes open, you got your faculties, you're alert, celebrate.
That's Hawaii Mike. And until next time, I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Bun B.
I'm Jeffrey Sledge.
Follow the show on Instagram at UnglossyPod and leave us a comment. Subscribe to Unglossy on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you catch your podcasts. Unglossy is hosted by Bun B, Jeffrey Sledge, and Tom Frank. It is produced and distributed by Merrick Studios.